Hey guys, time translate. Right after I set these cards up, which for me this Wednesday seemed to be on froze mode but still moving. It's intriguing. I got half the sun over here. I imparted my nail. No, that's crazy. Had a little altercation with footerities, but hey, the show must go on. Which they all have to come off anyway, which is a little sad. I gone and decided to join the Hut team. Well, not Hut team. Pizza team. And they don't like nails. Which I think should be a very challenging situation for me, honestly. So we see how that goes. Starting with tarot, then I'm gonna move over to the numbers, and then I'm gonna do the magic deck to see where this energy is at. My finger hurts so freaking bad shuffling. Jeez Louisa. Pain. The High Priestess. Your intuition gotta go within yourself. You and Holy Spirit got some work to do. And the 2 came out too, which is the here and after. And I don't know why these letters on here is catching my attention, but it's B and J. So B on one side and it's a J on the other side. The J is on the light side and the B is on the dark side. I'm not sure why that's popping out to me, but it's catching my attention. And the moon, this was out yesterday, which is so kind of intriguing even with those initials. And then the moon at the bottom of her feet. The moon was out last night, I realized, and it was the same shape. Which is really intriguing. Honestly, it's true because I got into an altercation with a person with those initials, honestly. Mine's and his. So I don't know why that just caught my attention, but it definitely did. I've seen this card 59 times it came out. That never catch my attention. There's something important by that. Oh, it's a 2-2. And then with a moon again. How intriguing. And when you add it up, it'd be 4. That's a crossway. Because you're in the middle. You're in the middle of a situation. But the moon is on one side. Not on the other side. It's like you're in the middle of something and justice is on both sides, you know. So it's like, but it seems like the light and dark situation where you got to use your intuition is on one side, one of them aspects, and you're blind doing it. So you definitely are going to be using your intuition, which is Holy Spirit. But some people say they're still conscious, but it all boils down to be Holy Spirit. That's really interesting. You're definitely in the middle of a situation. Two aspects. And they both justice-based. But one of them sides, it's a light and dark situation. The only way I can explain it. The other one must be obvious, you know, it's not something that is just maybe-ish. But they both got twos on these cards. It's both a light and dark situation. Dealing with the here and after. Oh, I flipped them too. Headed somewhere? You headed somewhere? Need another card. I think I'm gonna pull 6 cards out for this. And shuffle one more time, then I'm gonna grab some cards. But you gotta use your intuition as you're in the middle of something and you're headed somewhere. Ah, the Lovers. Oh, they got, how awesome. They got the 6. The numbers is perfect. You have to use your intuition and being in the middle of something, both got 2s on it. You headed somewhere, and the Lovers, they both got 6s on it. That's so awesome. Honestly. You maybe heading to your lover. That's super awesome. Very, very awesome. Because the wreath you're carrying is a Christmas wreath. It's like a celebration. And the fact that the Lovers came out, that's even better. Like, to me, I always think of marriage. Up options. Oh, that's 7. These numbers is going up and up, I tell you. The Lovers, and then you got options. You're trying to figure something out because you're in the middle of it. That's exactly how I gotta read these cards. One more really quick, I'm gonna get it up the middle. Juggling. Yep, bird, I see you in the middle. But you gotta use your intuition dealing with your lover. You're in the middle because you have options. And you're headed somewhere and you're gonna be juggling. That's funny, that's another 2. Using your intuition, being in the middle of something and juggling, all got 2s on it. And you headed somewhere and the Lovers got 6s on it. So excelente. But that's definitely it. You're not sure what direction to go in when it comes to the Lover. Because you're juggling. How so intriguing, huh? It's just like what I just said. Like, you can kind of still see it. When I first started this translation, it was like the sun is on like half of my face and the other side, you know, just look normal. But, you know, the sunlight gives like that type of aspect, you know, that extraness. Make things just super obvious. That's that same energy as being in the middle. The moon is on one side and the other one is just like, you gotta be like obvious. But you having to use your intuition is on the dark side. But it's always light even on the dark side, you know, but that's why you gotta use your intuition. And it's funny because even what you have in options, it's still standing out. Like, all them options, but that is lining up like right there. But you will figure it out once you use your intuition, dealing with Holy Spirit. I'll just do these numbers really quick. Snap 'em. Get over here. Two, 6, 5, and 4. That's enough. The first one that came out as a 2 too. That's intriguing. That makes 4 4s. Then I added those 2 up. The using your intuition and being stuck in the middle is a 4. Then it's a light and dark situation is the 6. The 5 halfway. And the 4 crossway. I love when things just confirm each other, because that's definitely what it is. You gotta work with the here and after as you're juggling. If you're dealing with a light and dark situation at a halfway. So you're halfway with that understanding, whether it's the here realm or the after realm. It's kind of hard to say people don't understand the here realm, but it's like it's kind of hard to understand the here realm if you don't understand the after realm. Honestly, nothing gonna make sense. Everything probably just gonna irritate you. Honestly, but that's your crossway. It's funny too, because right by this car accident to you being in the middle, as I was saying, and the moon is right there, and then this side is the one that's like, it's obvious for you. The dice of the 5, which is halfway, is on that side, and the crossway is the 4, is dealing with this situation. You have to use your intuition. It's in this aspect, it's feel like use your heart space. I think I even touched my heart. I'm over here touching the wrong side, so it's over here. But literally, you have to use your heart space for this. Sometimes the heart and the mind have you in 2 different directions, and this seemed to be this aspect. Even though you think your heart would naturally tell your mind what to do, somehow it's a contradiction to each other, honestly. And I realized the heart developed first in the beginning, when when you're in the womb or whatever. The heart develops before the brain does, so that's the aspect you need to use, is the heart, to figure this out. Listen to your heart when it's calling for you. Listen to your heart. There's nothing else you can do. It's kind of funny with me even saying that, listen to your heart, because how can I use it? I got an example I know I can give. Even when if you have somebody on your mind, you can feel it in your heart, but you can just try to ignore it. Like, your heart is signaling to you, making you think about them all the time, but you may have somebody else in your face, so you just try to suppress what you're feeling, if that makes sense. I feel like that could be that energy. As to your heart is telling you to do this, you're probably visualizing this person and everything, but you may have another person in your face, so you're trying to suppress the feelings. It reminds me of an episode of Touched by an Angel that I just watched yesterday. As into, this guy was married, but he got introduced to porn on the accident, and he kept having that vision in his head of what he's seeing on the porn site. So he wound up talking to his wife to sum up the story, and he was telling his wife, like, I stumbled across some porn, and I really feel like I'm with you, but I got the image of the other person in my head. I feel like they're here with us. Like, he couldn't get past the image that he seen. He really felt like it was a part of their whole relationship. I thought that was so interesting, how deep that can be. It's like he really didn't want to be with his wife, really. He felt guilty because he really felt like he was attached to the person that he was watching off of that site. Which for me, that's nothing but his true desire, that he just been suppressing, that just been open. A lot of people don't know what they like until they experience it. It probably blew his mind. I just thought it was cool, though, that he actually told his wife. A lot of people wouldn't have spoke up like that. She did feel some type of way, but it just, you can learn what your partner like. I think it's weird that you gotta suppress how you feel or what you really like to your person that you're married to. Like, that's so weird to me, but that's what this energy reminds me of, honestly. Definitely when you've been in the middle, one is obvious, one is in the dark. It's like you have one in your face, but you're attached to somebody else. And it gotta be it's dealing with the lover. The person that you have in your face is not your lover. Because Holy Spirit, using your intuition came out, which is dealing with Holy Spirit. Then it's a light and dark situation with the here and after. Like if you have a conversation, you might be able to get that whole desire. 'Cause I'm pretty sure maybe his wife, who don't want a little extra spice in their life, honestly, you know, or it could have been a part where it's time to detach. That season is over with. Honestly, just for the simple fact that you have to suppress your needs. That's a negative. I don't mean just be greedy with it and over abuse it, you know, and just think they're supposed to just accept anything. But when you go and got into a marriage, you should be able to express anything and everything to your spouse and they understand it or learn to understand it, because it's like you're a reflection of them to an extent. Or that's even the lesson y'all got to learn together, you know. But for me, I feel like that should happen before y'all got married, honestly. I know you still learn things in the marriage, but that's why there's never a rush to get married. You got to get to learn each other first. So you don't have surprises like this. Like, oh my God, I actually like porn. Wow. Like, but for me, porn is not bad. I don't watch porn. I used to watch porn a lot, but I don't know, just haven't been watching it. I have a great imagination though. I'm just saying. But I really don't see nothing wrong with it. I don't think that's cheating, honestly. If anything, I think it's the best thing too. I think it's the best solution from cheating, if you understand what I mean. It's like going to a museum. You get mad with your spouse for going to a museum, you know, would you rather them go to, you know, something else that's physical that can lead to other problems, you know? It's pretty much nothing but them masturbating. They're helping themselves. They don't actually have somebody else's hand or whatever on them. It's them pleasuring themselves, you know? So it's nothing. You shouldn't take it so personally, honestly. That's how I personally feel. But everybody have different opinions on it. Even with the lady, she did feel a certain type of way, like, oh my God. Even him, you know, he couldn't believe that. He really felt so attached to what he watched. He really felt like it was his wife in the bed and the person that he just was watching on, you know, the site. So it do get deep, you know, but he was new to it. He, like the whole internet thing, he was new to it. He didn't know, like, you can go on there and that type of stuff just pop up. You know, but I really think porn is actually good, beneficial thing. It's actually healthy for a marriage, if you ask me. Y'all can learn together, explore together, keep things spicy together. But I do believe in isolation, privacy time. You know, I want to pleasure myself by myself this time, and then later on I'm gonna come get you. I'm just saying, I think I might have to make this one maybe unchild friendly, but even they need to learn things like this. I don't think that we should always hide and suppress things from them. They really be the ones that be really kinky, getting down with the get down. We be acting like it's just so like impossible. Like, yeah, right. Not saying all of them do, but they do become very curious very early. Every child does. And they normally get to experimenting on each other, the closest thing that's around them. That's why incest happen a lot, honestly. I don't like that saying that kids are just being kids. What does that mean? I think if every adult go back and think about their childhood and the things that they did and the things that the parents thought or whoever was around them thought wasn't going on, that really was going on, it's like they forget all about that. Even with school, I feel like I'm going down a blog, but it's okay. Even with school, it's like they totally forget like how it was in there. Like how people get bullied, things of that nature. Why they could show up with a gun. Imagine what it was like when you were there. Like, did you totally forget? Even if you weren't the one doing it, you ain't never seen it? And the aspect as to, it makes sense why little Timothy showed up with a gun today, you know? He had to protect himself. He is on his own. And people will mess with you. And a gun, because I do speak about this a lot, I'm not advertising for it, but it makes sense why it happened. They don't feel safe and they gotta protect themselves. And what do a gun do? It protects you. Adults, we use it for other things, you know, but what it's actually for, and a kid understanding, is for protection. But speaking of that, it's interesting, this card just came out. It feels like somebody hurt somebody, honestly. And it feels like it's going with this energy as into what you're in the middle of in the Lover card. Because it got blood on the sword, and it's funny because what you're in the middle of is based off swords. One of them got blood on it. Somebody's hurt in the situation. Which may be the person in your face because they realize you are attached to somebody else, honestly. Because it's right in the angle of it. It all go together. Somebody's hurt in this aspect. Which for me, I feel like I just was talking about this yesterday. Something happened, I can't really remember what it was, but even with what I just talked about, it all goes together. But when you realize your partner have wandering eyes, or they have a connection with somebody else, or even when I say a connection with somebody else, maybe they might got somebody else pregnant. Maybe, I use that example, you know, so they got a whole nother foundation they got to focus on, you know. It's either you can deal with that or you got to let it go. It has been a season. This is a lesson where you detach like an umbilical cord, or you move forward. You know, either you, what's what I want to say, collab in this situation, which is growing, or you detach. Either one has to happen. Either the lesson is to, you know, collab, you know, make this work together, or you let it go. That has to be part of this lesson, to learn. I know a lot of times in people's marriages, they just be so afraid to let it go because they made a vow and stuff, but it's like, if you started from the wrong foundation anyway, it is going to crumble. I just talked about that in my last translation as to, if you build on sand, it's going to crumble eventually. And this is that same aspect. It's a lesson that you shouldn't have built it on sand. You can't build a house on sand. It will fall apart quickly. It may look nice in the beginning, but eventually it will crumble. And that's that energy. This is a lot of swords. And this is the good sword. That one, somebody's hurt. It's got a little blood on it too, honestly. What is that, a dragon? No, you're telling your partner about this. That's just like what I said about the touch by an angel. This is exactly that energy. Somebody's hurt that you have a connection with somebody else. It's like they feel like you didn't stab them, you know. That's a lot of blood on this sword, like, honestly, like, oh my Jesus. And you're telling them, or you want to tell them, this don't got that much blood on it. But with the hand back, with him holding that sword and looking back, pointing back, like at this dragon, which probably seemed terrifying to the person as to like it's a whole other person. They're telling them, or they want to tell them, but they know they're going to hurt them. But they're definitely going to tell them because it's full of blood now. And this is both night energy, like in a dark situation. That's so intriguing to me. So yeah, they're definitely, that's just so funny. Touch by angel, that's my show, but that's really just the same energy. They're going to tell them. And they're going to be hurt. Trying to put it together, it's crumbling. That might be where you're headed. Something's falling apart and you're trying to put it together as it's crumbling. What is that other hand? There's another hand coming. It's taking it apart. It's crumbling. Wow. Is that Holy Spirit doing? I swear to God, that look like it could be. It's like something is falling apart and you're trying to put it together and something is reaching down, taking it back apart. As you're putting it together, it's crumbling, but it's a hand reaching down, undoing it. That's intriguing. And I want to say that gotta be Holy Spirit. This body's reaching out the sky like that. It's like, this may be detached time, honestly. Because you done whatever you done. You have a connection with somebody. You may be trying to fix what you're in front of. But Holy Spirit is taking it right back apart. Like, no. No. And that's a leg. That looks like a leg, honestly. It's like a leg crumbling. And you're trying to put it back together, but Holy Spirit taking it apart. Look at that image. That is quite deep, honestly. Like, that looked like a leg that's coming apart, and you're trying to, like, put it back together. And then a hand reaching down, taking it right back apart. Wow. Wow. What's at the bottom of this deck, Jesus? A tower. Ha. Tower's at the bottom of the doggone deck. Yeah, it's crumbling. This foundation gonna crumble. The Emperor. You want your power? I feel like my nose about to start going. Pardon me. But yeah, the Tower is right up under there. Then the Emperor is right up under there. You and your power, and you have to use your intuition, which is Holy Spirit. Which is very intriguing, because that was the first card that came out too. The Hierophant and the High Priestess is like the same thing. Unless some people think of the Hermit as in isolating yourself, but even the High Priestess, sometimes some people meditate to do it. Me, I like to walk, or go back and look at pictures and things, which helps me. But there's different ways that the Holy Spirit communicate with people, but it's trying to communicate, so you have to literally be willing to receive. That's all I can say. You can't be going to other people really for the answers and wanting to give you the answers, because you have it within you. Like, it's naturally telling you, but you have to want to receive. So maybe I can explain that. So remember, be kind. You are a reflection.